Hey, what's going on, you guys? Fearlessfront here, coming at you on this beautiful Maine day. It's like currently sleeting, freezing rain. I don't know what you want to call it. It sucks right now. But either way, I thought I'd tough it out and give you guys a quick update on what's going on around here. Nothing really crazy, just wanted to kind of keep you guys in the loop. So first and foremost is this Troy-built Bronco. I'm unsure of the year. I literally just got this thing a couple days ago. Friend of mine gave it to me. He was kind of using it for doing like light yard work, and then he got a four-wheeler, so he didn't need it anymore. He did request that I give him the tire chains back, which I will more than happily give him. It looks like it says automatic transmission, but he told me it was a hydrostatic, which I thought was weird because you come around on this side and it has that classic MTD forward neutral reverse type deal. I looked underneath for the double pulley Very Drive and did not see it, so I think it is hydrostatic, but I've literally done nothing other than like look at this thing for 5 minutes. It's got a Kohler Courage 20 horsepower, not the greatest motor, but not the worst. It's got pressure lube. I know these oils are prone to block cracks, so we'll see what we get out of her. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with that thing yet, so if you have any ideas, let me know. I don't know if I'm going to do another mud mower build or something else. Maybe I'll just make it a yard cart thing. No idea. Shoot me some ideas. I'm open to anything. This machine I don't think I've updated you guys on. I've had this for probably 6 to 8 months now. This is actually my son's tractor. It's a older Murray. It has and the hood is just mounted ironically, as you can see. It's got an 18 horsepower opposed twin in it. This thing runs and drives. I need to rewire it. We haven't really done anything to it. We did actually go ahead and lock the rear end. It's a Peerless MST 206. So we yanked that out. Him and I welded up the Spyder gears like I normally do, put it back in. He's been loving this thing. It goes just about anywhere, even on factory turf tires. And I mean, basically we don't have the hood on it. We need to put a battery in it. Like I said, again, need to rewire it. But the thing runs and drives amazing. Way too much power for what he does with it, but it's here, he loves it, I'm happy, he's happy. I also wanted to go ahead and let you guys know about the Quadractor. I no longer own it, I sold it. Somebody contacted me online, offered me a stupid amount of money for the thing. I think he actually was more interested in the parts and the value of that because it was generally in good working order, even though it wasn't original. Because parts aren't very plentiful for those things, which kind of scares me because if something breaks, I'm screwed too. So that's gone. The thing really actually, and I wasn't too sad to see it go, it sucked to drive anyways. It was like driving a bulldozer. The steering wheel was there for decoration. It really, really sucked to use. Again, I'm really sorry. The lens has got some water on it. Hang on a second. Is that better? I think so. Again, sorry about it. I can't control the weather. But yeah, Quadractor's gone. Speaking of projects, the old redneck side-by-side. This thing's still going strong. This thing's a blast to drive. Everyone that comes over loves to drive this thing. It's so dumb. It's so fun. It doesn't make any sense, but for some reason, everybody loves this thing. Like, if you can drive a Power Wheels, you can drive this thing. It's hilarious. The Sears, the old diesel Sears, nothing to report new. One of my tires still has a slow leak. It has since day one. It kind of sucks. The back tire, it's the left rear. Yeah, she's a little low. This thing runs and drives just like it always does. Literally needs nothing. She asks me for nothing. She doesn't owe me a thing. One thing I probably will do this year is yank the ass end out because I believe one of my axle seals has kind of started to leak because grass gets wound in between the hub and the actual axle stub shaft. And it gets in there and it eats up the seal. So I do have new seals. I just got to take the whole tranny out to replace it, and really don't want to do that right now. But I will. I will do it. I just don't want to do it, you know, right in prime time mudding season, which is coming right up. So we'll get a couple rides in under our belt and then we'll go ahead and take the transmission out, replace it, all that stuff. Here's a stupid little update on my ugly truckling, my 2011 Honda Ridgeline. This thing's great. You know, coming from a Dodge, a couple Dodges, I love those trucks. They're great. They're powerful. They don't get good gas mileage. This thing gets pretty decent gas mileage. It's an interesting vehicle. You know, the Honda truck, the center console does like some weird Transformers stuff. You can slide everything around. It's got a lot of storage. Actually, the rear seat in this thing has more legroom than my Dodge ever did, and you can fold the seats up, which is pretty cool. And you got a whole flat cargo space in the rear. You can actually put a couple bicycles back here, but they flip down, you know, flip up, whatever you want. One of my favorite features of this truck in the back here, you can drop the tailgate like you normally would. There's a polymer bed. Side open, you can whip this thing open sideways, and you might be like, why would you do that? Well, number one, if you're carrying a bag of like chicken feed or something, you can just drop it right in the back of the truck without having to lean over the tailgate. But you also get access to this, the in-bed trunk, which is where the spare tire, and I keep straps, ratchet straps, tools, chainsaw, all that stuff is in here. The only downfall to this setup is, say you got a load of mulch in here and you get a flat tire, your tire is now underneath the load of mulch and you've got to move it to get to the trunk to get it out. There is a threaded rod up here somewhere that you can actually screw the spare tire into in the bed if you choose to do so, if you're planning ahead. But let's be honest, who's going to do that ever? This is my wife's new whip. We just got this 2 weeks ago. It's a 2013 Acura MDX. It's got basically the same engine in it as my Honda does. Mine's a 3.5, hers is a 3.7. So basically Honda boarded out a little bit more. They put a different intake manifold, throttle body, and some other little goodies on it. This thing makes like 300 horsepower, maybe a little bit more than that. I know it doesn't look like much. It's very unsuspecting. This thing will 0 to 60 around 7 seconds, which is close to what my supercharged Impala used to do. But it's got the technology package. It's fully loaded, leather, sunroof. Basically everything you could get for this year. It's got a very, very comfortable car, very quiet down the road. It's got a DVD player in the back, which, you know, the kids obviously love. It's not folded down, but there it is. Third row seating, you can fit 7 in here. Leather, heated seats in the back. Like, it's great. It's a pretty neat car, and we got it for a steal because this coronavirus thing has got people so terrified they literally won't even go to car dealerships. So they're not selling anything. So we bought this thing at like less than they were even asking for it with a bunch of stuff. They basically waived all the dealer fees and everything, so it was great. Still got chickens. We recently got ducks. We actually inherited these guys because there was a large group of them at a friend's house and they were slowly being picked off by a predator. So someone contacted us and said, hey, you want a couple ducks? And we said, sure. So now we have ducks. So now we're down in the basement. This is the off-road lawnmower thing that I was building with the ATV engine. I've actually went ahead and I found a bunch of parts that I was missing. So I got 2 pillow block bearings. I have a jack shaft somewhere that I'm going to fabricate, but everything's here to basically finish this thing. I just need to get off my ass and do it. It needs a little bit of welding, which is kind of one of the problems that I have is there's not really much space to weld. I can't weld in my basement and I have no outdoor power outlets yet. So I got to work on some electrical in the basement to enable me to do things like that, especially if I can weld right outside that door over there. It would be great. I'm so close to finishing this thing. I haven't worked on it in, I think, 2 years. Yeah, I really have no excuses other than I just need to get on it. Racing mower, obviously nothing new to report here. I did drive it over the summer a couple times just for fun. Real fun rig. Every time I get off this thing, my hands are shaking. It's absolutely terrifying to drive. It's still terrifying to drive. Yeah, that's basically it. The Murray, if you guys follow me on Instagram and such, you'll probably see that I've been actually working on this guy a little bit lately. Mower Outlaw gave me a new OHV engine, which I've actually gone ahead and installed. I initially tried to do this a while ago, and it was I got the whole thing installed, ready to go, and then for some reason the engine wouldn't turn over. It ended up being a tiny little nylock nut that probably got stuck underneath the flywheel. So it was in between the flywheel magnets and the stator. So it was causing the engine to feel like something was locking up inside of it. I couldn't figure it out. I finally pulled the flywheel, found the nut. Everything's back to normal. The head's off because I'm going to port the head, not polish, because it's a lawnmower, let's be honest. It's stupid. But I'm going to port the head out a little bit, get rid of the casting marks, stuff like that. We'll throw that on, but this thing should be good and ready to go. I had this other motor that I was using for pieces and parts for things that I didn't have. I actually swapped the flywheel off of the new motor and the starter off the new motor with the ones off of my original engine that I blew up. Not really blew up, but destroyed. This one came from my parents' house. This is a 14 horsepower OHV Briggs & Stratton engine. I inherited it because, you might be able to see the circle there, the piston decided to high-five the valve. So the valve is actually blasted through the head. I'm not really sure how that happened. I'm assuming the retainer came off, or maybe he floated the valves. I don't really know, but that thing got totally dicked, so she's done. The head is anyways. The rest of the engine's totally fine. So I'm going to keep this for parts. Got a good starter, got a good everything else. Reciprocating assembly is all fine. But yeah, besides that, I've just been plugging away on little projects around the house. Nothing too important or exciting. Should be getting the Murray finished up within the next few days here. I got to go get a Dremel kit to, Dremel out the head and get that all cleaned up. I already got the head gasket. She's already ready to go back together. I cannot wait to drive the Murray again. I don't even know how many years it's been. I know it's been years, but I need to get that thing back together. I need to get the snorkel on it so we don't end up in this problem again, and I need to ride it. That's the first drive I do this year is going to be on that tractor. I'm going to get stuck a lot because it's not the Sears, let's be honest. It's just not as capable, but it's way more comfortable to drive. It's way more fun to drive. It's faster. It's smoother. It's way more comfortable to drive just in general. So that's where I am as of right now. Of course, I'll let you guys know if anything changes. Hopefully be going on a ride here soon. Things are still a little frozen in the woods under the shade of the trees. Mud holes still have ice on them, so nothing's really exciting right now. But I'm assuming in the next week or two with all this rain that we're getting, it's probably gonna defrost and we're gonna be able to go for a ride. So stay tuned. Don't eat banana hot dogs, and yeah, have a good one.